Dumont's thrilling new game show, Down You Go, will not be seen tonight, so we can instead bring you Countdown, the longest continuously running 8 p.m. news hour on cable, unless you consider Fox News. We're live each night at 8 Eastern. We call it our little leadership team. Police forces across the country continuing to crack down on Occupy protests, though none acting as violently as Oakland's police did 5 weeks ago in its brutal treatment of our next guest, Scott Olsen. In our third story tonight, even as police continue to raid camps and make arrests, protesters persevere, some now even directly confronting high-ranking politicians and banks. In Tampa, 29 protesters arrested last night after refusing to leave a park there. Meantime, in Boston, 3 arrested after Occupy members brought a large sink to the encampment. Police saying they were not allowing new construction material and, quote, took custody of the property. A sink. It is now everything, including the kitchen sink. Despite the ongoing crackdowns, occupiers now taking their movement to politicians themselves. Protesters interrupting Herman Cain's speech at Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro last night.
I want to be president of something for somebody somewhere, doing anything as long as it's legal. I had achieved my dream to become a VP. VP. Y'all done yet?
Given how it's been going, Cain was probably happy to be interrupted there, but he was not the only politician being occupied. Protesters in Washington marching on a Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee fundraiser last night to call attention to the influence of big money in politics at the event where tickets reportedly went for as much as $75,000. Representative Donna Edwards, the Democrat of Maryland, who attended the event, expressing her support for the movement, saying she wants public financing of elections to eliminate the need for high-priced fundraisers.
I stand by the 99%.
I stand by the 99%.
In my district.
In my district.
Are the 99%.
Are the 99%.
People who've lost their homes.
People who lost their homes.
People who've lost their jobs.
People who lost their jobs.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
It's not right.
It's not right.
And it's time for us to occupy America.
It's time for us to occupy America.
The movement now spreading from the streets to foreclosed homes. Occupy Rochester, that's in New York State, has been holding protests outside each one such home and also the local Wells Fargo branch, demanding the bank negotiate with its owners. Earlier this week, following public outcry, that family there was given an additional 30 days to work out an agreement. Occupy Oakland now trying to do the same for 75-year-old Josephine Tolbert, who fell behind on her mortgage payments after she was diagnosed with cancer. Police there blocking the entrance to her home. Speaking of Occupy Oakland, joining me now as promised, Scott Olsen, the Iraq War vet whose skull was fractured at an Occupy Oakland rally in late October. Scott, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I'm glad we can do this. Thanks for your time tonight.
Howdy, Keith. Glad to be here.
How are you feeling, and how people who saw that interview that you did over the weekend at Occupy Oakland, how fast are you getting better? Let me put it that way.
It's difficult to say. Every time I run into somebody new who I haven't seen for quite a while, they're surprised how much I'm doing better. Every time I check in with my doctors, every time I check in with any friends, they see the change faster than I do.
I would imagine that's true. Do you find it frustrating, or has the support that you've gotten nationwide actually contributed to this process? Not to have everybody pat themselves on the back, but I mean, has it been of any practical value to you?
Well, it's frustrating at times, but the support has been such a great help to me. Just going home and reading a new card, I've still got a whole stack to get through. And support from vet groups and like VFP or IVAW has been outstanding. And it's been helping me get way better.
How clear a picture do you have of how much support there is and how much you've come to represent, not just Occupy Oakland, but Occupy in general?
Well, I mean, I've got this idea, but it's a bit hard to get my head around. I was out on the streets of San Francisco today, and 3 or 4 people who you wouldn't expect to be involved with politics, they recognized me and they sought me, and it's always a surprise to me.
Yeah, I would think so. What does that mean to you when people think of you as part of maybe the essence of Occupy?
I mean, it's important to me because, I am a part of it. We all are, and it's important for us all to be a part of it and embody those values that we hold true.
Tell me what was it particularly that drew you to Occupy Oakland in the first place?
Just really the community involved and the diversity of opinions. Everybody you talk to there is going to have a different opinion, and you can always learn something new from talking to somebody else.
I don't know if you know this name, Sergeant Shamar Thomas.
Oh.
Oh, good. Well, then you know what he did here in New York, and he became famous for it because he stood up to the cops and he said, with real vigor but real politeness towards them, there's no excuse for you to behave like this. This is not a battlefield. He knew battlefields. You know battlefields. Does the degree of militarization of the police at Occupy protests, obviously that had an impact on you personally, but in a broader sense, does it shock you that you're seeing this on the streets of this country?
I don't know. It's on one hand, it shocks me a lot. On the other hand, it doesn't, because our nation's peace officers have been militarized over the past 10 years to combat terrorism, but they're combating anybody with an opinion.
Relative to your opinion and these protests, do you have plans, you have hopes about resuming participating in some regular way, or what do you want to do with this as it goes forward?
I'm excited to get back involved, and I'm trying to plan on how I can get back involved and be an asset to the Occupy movement. But I have to make sure I stay safe.
Well, you're already an asset. You don't have to worry about achieving that. You're sort of like a practical, in-the-field kind of thing. Let me sum it up this way. What do you want, having been through all that you've been through involved in this, what do you want to see Occupy achieve, long-term, short-term, however you want to put it?
I mean, really, I just want to see more people get involved with real democracy, to build a democratic nation. With that, I think we need to end our wars, all of them, and that'll do our country a great service.
Scott Olsen, we wish you, all of us here, everybody's watching, we wish you the best as your recovery continues, and obviously we thank you for your bravery in getting involved in this and for doing these interviews, and of course thank you for your original service as well.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, the man behind the Republicans' pledge not to raise taxes explains why it's okay for Republicans to raise taxes anyway. Worst person's ahead.